Okay, we're up. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Black Buzz. We're here on Mondays around 2 o'clock, and we bring to you individuals that are doing it in the community and for the community. Right. This is KP, Kenton Perrin. Of course, you have Michelle Journell there from TB Entertainment. Isn't that what it is? That's what it says there,
Yeah,
right? Oh, no, sorry. It says TBENT. Maybe I should just keep it at that, right? And you want to explain what TBENT is all about?
it's Twice Less Entertainment. It's
Yeah.
a company with myself and my daughter, and things that we do on YouTube and online presence.
All right. When it comes to music, she's the one that you want to hit up. All your musical needs. And then we have Mr. Lamar. I've been saying that he's been out. I won't tell you what he was doing. He was out for a while. He's our tech specialist, and he makes a lot of what we do happen. And he's back with us again. There's another person that's normally with us. Her name is Tia. Tia is doing some things, but she jumps in and out every now and then. And today we have two special guests with us, man. We have let me pull up the bio here. We have Evans and Rachel before Asante. All right, that's who they are. They are going to be talking to us today about what they do. So let me read a little bit about the bio, and then we'll move into the discussion here. They're married for 5 years. Together, they have 8 children, 5 boys and 3 girls. Uh, in biblical terms, we'll say your quiver is full. Right? Um, Evans is a project manager at Bell with a passion for photography. Uh, he founded When they found out they were having twins, he began to nurture the passion and decided to turn it into a craft called Evermore Media. And we're going to talk about that today. And then Rachel is a social service worker with a flair to turn your ideas to reality. Her passion to turn a space into a memorable event had always been something that Rachel enjoyed doing, but never really carried it out on a broader scale until now. Her decor company is currently called Jackie Becky Events and Decor, named after her daughters. And yes, so that's who they are. Welcome to both of you. Welcome to Black Buzz.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
How's the new year so far?
Can't complain.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
All
Cannot
right.
complain.
Okay. So talk to us now. I mean, because we have two different entities here, I'm not too sure which one we're going to start with first. I don't know if Rachel, you want to go first or Evan? Okay, all right. I got the signal. So we're gonna get into photography, right? So Evans, talk to us about what you do and how you got into this. I read in the bio that you're doing one thing right now, and in terms of work, and then but you're doing your passion, right?
Right.
How did this come about? Talk to us.
So I'm an IT professional,
Okay.
and work in project management.
Hmm.
But outside of my profession, I also always had the feeling for photography, video stuff,
Yeah.
but never really acted on it until a
Hmm.
couple of years ago. So a couple of years ago, when we got married,
Hmm.
before we got married, we both had two boys from previous relationships. So we had four boys in total, and we said no more kids, right? When we
Hmm.
were getting married. But your way is not always God's way, right? So
Yeah.
a few months after marriage, you realize that, oh, we were having twins. So it's like, okay. But
From none to two.
yeah, so so when the twins were born, it happens that they were born really early. They were born at about 28 weeks.
Okay.
Um, and even before they came out, all the doctors were like, they're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. They're too underdeveloped to survive and stuff like that.
Right.
So she was in the even before they came out. She was in the hospital for about a month and a half on bed
Mm-hmm.
rest at the hospital. Then they said, "Okay, you guys looks like you're okay. You can go home." We came home, and then all of a sudden she was, having issues. We went back, and then as soon as we went back that same night, they says, "Oh, they have to come." So they happened to come that night, and it was like 28 weeks, and everybody was like, "They're probably never going to make it." And because they were all saying they're not going to make it, they're not going to make it, we were in the NICU for a while. But that same day in the NICU, I decided that I have to spend or capture every little moment that I get to spend with them.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal was that every little moment that I got to spend with them, I have to make sure I have enough memory of that moment. So
Okay.
I went out to Best Buy, grabbed an old, at that time it was a Canon Rebel T5 or something of that sort with a kit lens. And every day I go to the hospital, I spend some time with the twins, and I take pictures of everything, including whatever the nurses are writing on their boards, whatever they're going through that time. Um, and I started taking pictures every day. So I said, even if it's 3 days, 4 days, how many ever days they're here on earth, I'm going to take pictures of them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Gradually, through prayers and through God's grace, they survived, right?
Right.
They came home after 3 months.
Okay.
When they came home, it also started. So I take pictures of them every month. I stage a photo shoot for them at home. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take pictures every day, every month, like whatever I can get. I was grabbing. So that's how it all started. It started by me taking pictures of them at home, and then gradually there was this guy that did our wedding photos. So after a while, I really got the passion to do something more with my camera and the gear that I have. So I started doing learning off YouTube, learning off friends and stuff like that, asking questions here and there. Then I
Mm-hmm.
reached out to this photographer that did our wedding and said, I'm interested in photography. I had started posting some of my stuff on Instagram, and he said, "Oh, I've been seeing the stuff you've been posting, and they're pretty good. If you want to come do a couple of weddings with me and see how you like it, that's fine." So I went out there with him, started doing some wedding shots with him here and there. I did about 3 or 4 weddings working together with him. Then one day he calls me and says, "Oh, we have a wedding here. I'm going to do another wedding here. You're going to do that other wedding." Right. So just like that, he just put me up on the spot to go
Right.
off on my own, and it's been that way ever since. So I started off with the photos, and then eventually I had to go into my passion, which was the video side as well. So
Yeah.
I've been doing both photos and videos since then.
Okay. So you went into the. All right. That's a so literally in terms of it all started with your kids and that's
Correct.
literally what you,
It all started with the birth of the twins. I had that love and passion for video stuff in the
right,
past. I
right.
had done video and stuff for church and stuff like that, but it wasn't anything that I really would say I was taking
Seriously.
seriously. Right. I
Right.
was just doing it at church. I will have a camcorder, record some of the videos and stuff at church. But after the twins were born, I decided to really take it up and do something with it.
So it's through YouTube and through the mentoring of that friend that you're talking about. Any type of formal training after you got it?
No formal training. It's always been self-taught.
Yeah.
I've taken a few online courses here and there,
Right.
and online video workshops here and there, just to try to get my skills up to date. But so far, it's been really good. A lot of practice. A lot of practice.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this now?
So I've been doing this for about. I started shooting them since they were in the hospital, so about roughly 6 years. But I started doing the business side of it seriously about 4.5 years ago.
Okay. Okay, I see. So and it's something that you've been enjoying. You've been getting a lot of individuals reaching out to you since you started.
So since I started, it's been really great.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I work full time, so
Right.
I'm only doing events on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing photography full time yet, but it's been great. And out of that, I started my YouTube channel as well, and so far it's been great. Out of so yeah, in the Toronto photography community, a lot of people. I have a lot of people that I work with. Made a lot of friends. I
Mm-hmm.
have an active group of people, group that is about 10,000 followers, that is organized by a friend of mine. It's called Get Out and Shoot Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and we organize events on the weekends here and there to for other photographers and stuff to come together, meet, and go out and shoot. We've taken a break because of COVID, but it's been fun. Through this, I've come to meet a lot of people. I've grown a lot of friends on social media, Instagram, YouTube, that I've probably never even met, but we've become like a nice, neat community, and it's going really well.
Okay.
So, with your kids being the brainchild behind your photography, do you spend more time shooting children, or have you changed what actually type of photography that you do?
So I started off just shooting my kids at home,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't cope with kids photography. No, I see the funny thing is that I shoot kids from time to time,
Yeah.
and I can do other people's kids, but I can't do my own kids anymore because they don't listen. They don't. They won't. They won't.
They know the boss. They know the
They
boss.
see me
So
as daddy,
it's not
right?
gonna
So
work. Right? Boss is
yeah,
daddy.
it's not gonna work. I realized that other people's kids will sit and listen and post for me, but my
Mm-hmm.
own kids won't, right? And shooting kids is a lot more time intensive and a lot more effort involved. Someone will say it's just easy, but it's not, because if you're looking for something that is, let's say, for lack of a better word, IG feed worthy,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to engage those kids at their level, right? And even though I have so many kids of my own,
Yeah.
I'm still not at that point where I can engage kids to that point for them to
Right.
really do what I want them to do.
Yeah.
So I do mostly weddings and portraits.
Wedding. Okay. So in terms of get into the nitty gritty of what you do. Because to the common person like myself, I mean, yes, I use my camera phone or I use maybe other devices, but I wouldn't necessarily say I understand fully what I'm doing. I just take shots or take videos of certain things. But what are some of the things that you have to consider when you're doing these things outside of what you're doing specifically? Lighting comes into play, the kind of equipment you're using.
Yeah, so you mentioned it. The key thing when it comes to photography is lighting, right? Understanding light and how light shapes the image you're going to create.
Right,
But outside of the light, you also need to understand how the camera works,
right,
which is the key point, because um, the same scene, like I said, I go out with friends and we shoot sometimes for fun and to practice. We can all be shooting at the same spot, but
hmm,
everybody, or even pointed our cameras at the same thing, but
okay,
everybody's going to come out with a different image,
okay,
because photography is not just about taking a picture, it's actually creating art. So you can envision the scene and figure out that for this scene, this is what I want to come out with. And you have to be able to understand how to set your camera up to create what you have in your mind,
hmm,
right? So understanding how a camera functions
right,
will help a long way. It doesn't matter even if you're using your cell phone, you still need to understand how the parameters of that cell phone will affect the final image that you get. So starting from what we call your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture, those three things actually determines how your picture is coming out. In
right,
addition to the light conditions,
okay,
basically your shutter speed is how fast the camera is opening and closing up, right? And your aperture is basically how much light the camera is letting in at the same time.
okay,
And that kind of stuff, understanding how those things works and how they impact your your image in the final version is very key for you to be able to come out and work effectively as a photographer.
Okay. Yeah, I see, Shay. You have something here in our room. Do you want me to put that up? Is that Evan's IG or
Yes, I'm gonna. Yes, it is his.
okay? Okay. So yeah. While you're talking, I guess we can once you get it back up there, I'll put it up there. So maybe you can.
Oh yeah, that's my Instagram profile. Maybe I can talk about a few of the images here.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk
Um,
about.
so if you can go all the way to the top, I can start off talking about one image in particular. This one right here, the one, the on the right hand side, second down, right? That particular image. If you notice, that's an image of Rachel, my
Hmm.
wife, right here. This image we took during the Corona time. So because of the COVID and restrictions, I
Hmm.
haven't been shooting a lot because I'm trying to avoid exposing myself unnecessarily
Right.
uh, outdoors. So I don't for a couple of times I haven't been shooting a lot, but instead of that, I've tried to use Rachel as my model,
Hmm.
even though she doesn't like it most of the time. I've tried to use it as my model to create stuff at home. So this was right here in our living room, right? So all I did was set up a little one light, simple one light shot in our living room, and this was a collaboration with Charity's Closet, which is a friend of ours who also does clothing, accessories, and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
that necklace she's wearing is actually, well, that's a necklace actually, but we in some of the shoots we use it as also as a crown for other effects. So I think that would be on the next one, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think I didn't post that one, but it was all part of that being creative, right? If your creativity is there, you don't need to limit yourself to always going out and looking for models to shoot, because you can take every little scene, every small corner, and create something out of it. Someone would think that this was shot in a
Studio.
studio, but this was actually just shot right in my living room. All I had to do was set up a backdrop and one light and have that created.
All right. And that's this is your Insta. This is Instagram, right?
This is Instagram.
Okay. Is this your main
Have you
platform?
worked? Oh,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lamar. Go ahead.
no, I was just asking if you like work in collaboration with any magazine companies or anything, like to get your photos in the magazine. So,
So, in terms of collaborations, I've been doing a few here and there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I've done mostly, well, the last year I did a couple of collaborations with the group I was talking about, Get Out and Shoot,
Hmm.
where because we have about close to 11,000 members, but majority of them are just beginning photographers. So some of them are even just shooting on their cell phones and stuff. So what we've been doing over the last year was to try to um, take some of them that wanted to take their skills to the next level and organize workshops for them. So in the last year, we organized lighting workshops where we teach them how to set up lights to get the kind of effects that you want. So there's various types of photography, but in most of the time when you're doing portraits, you either have the option of doing what we call natural light, which is outdoors with the sun, no flash, nothing. But we also want to take control sometimes of the light, and then you have to introduce in a flash or a strobe. And that concept of introducing the strobe, many people find it really hard to adjust to, or to when they begin. And so the whole idea of my collaborations last year was we put up, I think, three or four individual workshops for people who wanted to learn how to start using strobes outdoors when it's not.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. So that was it. And then I've also done a couple of collaborations with, but mostly on YouTube, with a couple of other photographers from the US, from Ghana. Um, I think, yeah, I think that's it. It's mostly from the US and Ghana. And what we do is we bring in people onto a weekly Wednesday show where we talk about photography and photography related stuff as well as video related stuff. And it's a weekly show, so we rotate between there's four of us who host it. We rotate between our individual YouTube channels on every Wednesday around 7:30 p.m. We sit down and we talk.
Uh-huh.
Out of that, we also created a couple of YouTube groups. One of them is hosted by my friend Salom in the United States. That group, basically what we do is we go live in there on Tuesdays, and we are teaching new YouTubers skills and stuff like that to improve the quality of their videos that they put out on YouTube,
Hmm.
and also how to grow your followers on YouTube. Right. And then the second group is also just related to photography and stuff where people can share their work. So we put up challenges, and then at the end of the week people come in and then they share what they have been able to create, whether it's a challenge of shooting something in your house. So take something small in your house, create a nice photo out of it, then you share it out there. People will give you feedback on what you could have done better or what you could have changed in that image and stuff like that.
In terms of your clientele, is it mainly black folks? Is it a variety of different people? Like, what is it like?
I have had a variety of people.
Right.
um, I recently just did a Greek wedding as well.
Okay.
So it's been a variety of people,
Right.
but majority has been our people, and I'm trying
Right.
to move away from our people.
Okay.
Not that I don't like our people, I like our people, but sometimes they are the ones that gives you the most trouble, right? So, so I still in the community. I'm still want to help out people, but at the
Right.
same time, I want to expand outside of the community and not just limit myself to working with um, black customers.
How far has this work taken you in terms of before COVID? And then and then I'll ask you about COVID. Like how far have you gone? Is it just limited to Canada? I know
So
you say
far, so
go ahead.
far, yeah, I've been limited to Canada. I've done a couple of maybe one or two weddings in the States as well.
Okay.
Uh, but I'm not in the mood for too much of travels right now.
Okay.
And that's mainly because when I first started doing my daytime job a couple of years ago, I started off with as a field technician. So I used to drive almost everywhere, and
Okay.
I've driven around the whole and travel a lot. I've traveled almost everywhere in Canada, almost every
Okay.
province I've been to.
Every province. Okay.
So
That's what I'm gonna ask
almost every
you.
province, yeah.
National. Okay.
So it's like I've had a lot of travel, and it's now time to just for me to sit back a little bit and cut down that travel time.
Right. Right. What are some of the challenges you face while doing this?
I think that it's more challenging in the sense of this that when you have clients who feel like photography is just you taking a picture, and so why do you have to charge so much to do
Mhm.
take a picture,
Mhm.
right? But sometimes most clients don't realize that I'm coming to your event, and let's say even if it's a 3 hour event, I'm spending 3 hours at that event to take the
Yeah.
picture. But after that, I'm probably going to spend another 3 to 4 hours sitting here in my office, editing that picture,
Right.
working on it, exporting it, making sure it is what it is before you get it.
Hmm.
Most people just see the work that is happening on that day,
Yeah.
and they don't factor in the fact that you're going to spend more time actually working on it. And so when you are pricing and stuff, they feel like maybe it's too much.
Right.
Uh, Maybe photography is not worth that much, right? That has been one of the biggest challenge with photography in general. But for me per se, it's just been a matter of um, balancing my full time job as well as my photography business as well. Because I do project management, and there are times where um, I have big projects that will take me day and night to work on.
Right. Right.
And so it becomes a challenge trying to deliver client work for the photography side on time.
Right. Right. Do you see yourself eventually moving into this passion, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think so. I think eventually I will, but I'm just right now still trying to grow it to the point where
Right,
I can let go of everything.
right.
Uh, and so, as part of my photography thing, I also have started a YouTube channel to kind of bring it all together. Um,
How is that going? The YouTube side of it?
so, YouTube side of it has been going good, but the thing is that, um, like my wife, I was also started off branded under Jackie Becky Media,
Yeah.
which was because the whole thing started with the kids. I named it after them. So
Hmm.
my daughters are Jackie and Becky, and I was naming it under them.
Hmm.
But earlier this year, I had to rebrand everything so that I can structure both the business as well as my social media presence under one umbrella
Hmm.
and try to push that growth.
Okay.
So what I have done is rename everything to Evermore Media so
Hmm.
that it makes it easier for people to follow and find me on every platform.
Right.
But also my YouTube channel, I started about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
but I wasn't really serious with it. It
Okay.
was like I put one thing out there whenever I want to, whenever I can. But since the beginning of the COVID thing, I started to pay more attention to my YouTube channel,
Hmm.
and it's really been really good because since March, I think my subscriber rate has grown from maybe 300 during the first, um, during before the COVID time in March,
Yeah.
and I'm already at about 1,800. So from March to now, I've probably grown about 1,500 subscribers. And the only reason that is because now I've taken more time to focus a lot more on growing that side of things,
Right.
and actually putting out more videos regularly, live streaming regularly,
Hmm.
and making sure that I'm always engaging people in in the content as well as in the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think Lamar has a question to ask. Go ahead,
Yep.
Lamar.
Um, I'm just
Oh,
asking
just
you
before you ask
if you have
your
any advice for like content.
Lamar, just before you ask your question.
Huh?
So right now, folks, for those who are watching on
Yeah.
Facebook and YouTube, we are talking to Evans and Rachel before Asante. Evans is talking to us right now about his media empire.
It will be very soon.
Yes, Evermore Media. That's what he's talking to us about. All right, go ahead, Lamar.
Yeah, so I was just asking, do you have any advice for content creators trying to grow their platform?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for content creators, it's very important to stay
Mhm,
consistent, right? One problem I have is if you look at
mhm.
my Instagram, you realize that I haven't been consistent on Instagram as much, even though I'm at 2,000
I was
plus
about to say, I was
followers.
about that for some consistent and you got that many. Wow.
Yeah, I've got quite a following on Instagram, not where
Yeah.
I want to be, but it's just because I haven't been really consistent. I think the whole of this year I haven't even posted a single picture on my Instagram account yet. And that's because I've been sick a little bit, and I've been going up and down. Oh, and I see God's good in the house. What's up, Elder? That's my good friend, Elder Lennox. All right. So as I was saying, consistency is key, right? And I can tell you, by me going up on
Mhm.
YouTube and becoming beginning to be consistent since March, I
Mhm.
have seen the growth, right? Like I said, by March of last year, I only had about 300 subscribers.
Right, right.
But since I started being consistent, I have been able to go up from there to.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. This is on Black Buds.
Sorry, my studio got stormed by these little kids.
Don't worry about it, man. We love it. We love it. That's what makes this podcast very interesting.
Yeah, when I'm down here by myself, they won't come. But when their mom is here too, they're definitely coming.
Uh-huh.
All right. So this is Gracie, our last born.
Last
Yes,
and
yes.
final.
Final. Yes. So as I was saying, one of the is biggest ways to grow your social media presence is
Uh-huh.
consistent on every platform that you're on.
What does
Cons-
consistency mean? What does it when you say consistent? What does
so
that mean?
being consistent is basically having a regular, if you can, right? So I believe in schedule,
Right.
right? So if you feel like, for example, on Instagram, if you feel you can post one image a day,
Yeah.
right, then stick to that one image a day,
Okay.
and if possible, at the same time during the day, right?
Okay.
We may
Okay.
not notice it, but our followers and stuff, they get to the point where they know that on a Tuesday at this time, you're dropping a video, you're dropping a picture, and so they are looking out for it, right?
Hmm.
And if you're not consistent, you tend to lose the kind of loyal followers who are
Okay.
always expecting you to drop something.
Right.
For my
Right.
YouTube, for example, I try to put out one video a week,
Hmm.
usually on Wednesdays, and I
Okay.
usually post on Wednesdays around between 8 and 9 p.m.
Okay.
Right? Because I realized that that's when most of my viewers are active.
Right.
So I post around that time, and as soon as I post, you will see the views coming in because those viewers, my loyal people, followers, I know they are active at that time.
Okay.
So especially for YouTube, what YouTube is doing is that when you post, the first 2 hours is crucial,
Hmm.
right? So the kind of engagement you have on that video during the first 2 hours to the first 24 hours
Hmm.
kind of determines how much of an interest people have in that video.
Hmm.
So it helps you get onto the algorithm and get pushed out there
Hmm.
and shown on people's feeds, right? So you
Okay.
want to be able to post at a consistent rate, but also at a consistent time where you know that you will get the most views right out of the gate.
Okay. Great insight. Go ahead, Shay.
So my question would be for the both of them, Evan and Rachel. So with this social unrest that happened a lot last year, and the concept of black dollars and black businesses, did you guys see a high fluctuation of income or attention or viewership during that time for your both businesses? So I think in July we had a blackout day, July 7, black dollars. Did anything change for you guys in that time?
Which
For
one?
me personally, um, but then again, I haven't been too involved in, or I should be saying, I haven't been too hands on with the core business only because of the kids and quarantine and them not being able to go to different outdoor uh, activities that they would have been involved in to give me that time to be more involved in my business.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
So I haven't really seen, no, I haven't seen a
Yeah,
difference.
for me, I would say a little bit because I had a lot more people interested in my workshops.
Right.
Right? So um, like I said, I had four or so workshops, and all four were sold out within the first 24 hours of posting it out.
Okay.
Right. So I got a lot of traffic that way from my workshops.
Hmm.
And I also maybe saw a little bit of more inquiries
Hmm.
from people wanting to do shoots and stuff.
Right.
Though I turned majority of them down for safety reasons, but I think I saw a little bit of an increase in people inquiring about my services.
Okay. I mean, listen, I have 101 questions for you, but I want to get to Miss Rachel here. Right. So Rachel, talk to us a little bit about your Jackie Becky events. What was it like before COVID? This is after COVID. This is after. What was it? What was it like?
Uh, well, after COVID, of course, there was a lot of kerfuffle. I say a lot of craziness, uh, uh, a lot of uh, straightening things out, putting things together,
Hmm.
making plan B's, plan C's, plan Z's,
Yeah.
in order to accomplish certain things that people wanted to do but weren't able to do because of what is going on right now.
Right. Were,
So,
were you able to do anything in terms of and if you were, like, how did you have to adjust since?
so we did a lot of stay at home, so home events.
Okay.
So a lot of home events, a lot of balloons. So I've been doing a lot more balloons more than um, my decor. Yeah. So that was one
Hmm.
quarantine graduation. So
Okay.
because of our beautiful pandemic,
Yeah. Yeah.
students weren't able to graduate in the traditional sense that we're used to. So a
Okay.
lot of parents found ways to go around that in order to give their kids, you know, something to
Right.
say,
Right.
I did this during my graduation. So
A sense
a
of
lot of parents,
normalcy.
a sense of normalcy. So a
Yeah.
lot of parents did things in the backyard.
Okay.
They staged like a little ceremonies or a little celebration.
Hmm.
Some did it in, well, I did for my son because my son graduated grade 8 in
Okay.
June. So we did it in our living room. So I did a little setup for him in our living room,
Right.
and
Right.
we had our little ceremony in our living room for him. So I found a lot of people broke away from the big events with the banquets and
Yeah.
did it more intimate within their homes. So it was a lot more dinners, a lot of more intimate birthday celebrations. So it's
Uh-huh.
kind of like going back to where we used to be before we started trying to one up each other with events.
You're saying a lot without saying a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And you're on, that was what was that, Shay? Was that Instagram?
Yes.
Oh, that's, no, this is Instagram. Okay. Yeah, are you also on YouTube, Rachel?
I'm not as you can tell, I'm very shy. I'm very behind the scenes. So
Right.
I'm not as out go as much as I am sociable, I'm not out there as much as my husband. He
Mhm.
loves the camera, he loves everything media.
Mhm.
I like to be more behind the scenes.
Right.
I,
Okay.
I like to be more behind the scenes.
Do you do
Sorry,
you
Jackie. So
yeah.
when you do these decorations, do you have like a team or is this all a one woman show?
So I wish I could take all the credit. But I do like to bring in other aspiring decorators that want to get their hands wet um, within the industry.
Mhm.
So they want to know a little. Yes, baby. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So I do. So those that contact me that want to, get their hands wet within the industry, I do invite them along with me
Right.
on different events to help me set up. Now my daughters, because they see me do it all the time, they actually know how to do the balloons and putting them
Okay.
together.
Right.
So I do take my sons. Evans helps me a lot too as well with putting balloon gardens and backdrops. I do have family members that assist as well, and my church has been so supportive as well. They
Mhm.
also do help me on different events as well.
Shout outs to the church wherever you are. All right. Any other questions, like Lamar, you had any questions on the event side, or?
Wait, no,
There
sorry. I was
you
just
go.
gonna ask which church you guys go to.
She was asking what the
Hello, do you
church you
guys
go
hear
to.
me?
Sorry?
Oh, what
Which
church you
church?
go
What
to?
what church you guys
Yeah.
go to?
Oh, it's
The
it's called Fruitful House Family Church.
The best church
It's
ever.
yeah, if it's up on
Saga,
Columbus Road in Derry
Mississauga.
Road and Derry and Columbus
Right.
around that
hmm
in Mississauga.
How long
Do
were
you
you?
do streaming for them? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry?
Do you
Yeah. Do
stream?
you stream for them also? Like
Correct.
on the
So
video side? Yeah.
that's one of the things I do. Live stream I assist with the tech stuff on at the church,
Mm.
setting up live streams and all that stuff as well. Yeah.
I was gonna, Rachel, how long have you been doing the events thing?
So I've been doing it for as long as I could remember, just helping family members put together like birthday parties or little small events that they want to do.
Yeah.
But where I actually started getting serious with it was I think when the twins, maybe a little bit after the twins were born,
Yeah.
when I realized that me going back to the workforce was going to be a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
So I decided to be more involved in that. So let's say it's what, 3, 4 years now? Three,
Okay.
4 years. Yeah. And then when I got pregnant with this little one, I'm like, and then Corona hit. So it looks like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
3 years now.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, it in terms of the community has been supportive in term. Is it as far as what you're doing? People reaching out to you all the time. It's a combination of things, or what do you?
Yes, actually, the community has been extremely supportive. It's just I'm the one that's pacing myself. I try
Okay.
not to take on too much. Like before,
Mhm.
I would take on like 2, 3, 4 events in one weekend, back to back to back to back, and
Right.
it was taking a toll on my household. So my kids
Okay.
weren't seeing me as much, and things were slipping. So I decided to pace myself more, so I don't do as much events. Maybe I'll just do one or two larger events
Right.
as then yeah.
How
Sorry.
do you space those out? How do you space them out when you're taking on?
When I take on a lot of them,
No, in terms, you said you take on like maybe one or two large
yeah,
events, and then I'm
yes,
guessing you do the smaller ones. So how do you space them out? Like in terms of the large ones, or you mix them, or how do you do it?
it's usually mixed. So
Okay,
the larger ones I like to prepare for them during the week because it takes
right.
a lot of preparation. You can't just go out there. So I prepare for them during the week, and usually Fridays is when I usually Thursdays or Fridays is usually when I get the chance to set up for the larger ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the weekends is when I get to pay more attention to the smaller events.
Right.
Yes.
So, do you guys work together as a dynamic duo? So, if he gets a client, does he refer you? If you get a client, do you refer him, or you come as a package?
We do that at times. Sometimes not all the time, as you can imagine. We see each other every day,
Ah,
24/7. As much as I love my husband, the decor is also a way for me to just kind of express myself freely and just get outside of things and just dive into there, just
right.
lose myself within it. So we do it sometimes,
Yeah, we do
not a
work
lot.
together sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can't stand her working.
Wanting to touch your cameras and all of those, so to go here,
he's
yeah,
No,
very he's
no,
very
it's like
he's very
I'm meticulous
precise,
and
yeah,
precise with the
and
way I
I'm
do
very
certain
free,
things,
free
right?
spirit.
And she's just gonna go there and be doing stuff like nothing is happening. I like to go in, have a plan, and says, I'm going in at 5. I gotta
yeah,
be out by 7. She
right,
just keeps going and takes her
No,
time to
it's not
check,
that.
and
It's
because she wants all the
sometimes.
details and all that stuff,
Yes,
right? Which is good. I'm not disputing that,
yeah,
but sometimes I want to get in and out, right? So I want to plan and figure out that when I get there, this is going here, this is going there in advance, and I'm out.
and that's the
Mhm.
interesting side of the court too, because sometimes you'd have certain things planned out in your head. You'll have the vision, and then when you go in there and you execute it, you notice little things that you are missing or you have to change, and then that takes another
yeah, yeah.
hours in order to complete. So yeah.
So if somebody reaches out to you right now, you're accepting clients right now in terms of for anything that you
Yeah, well, I took kind of like a break because of
okay,
the kids, and so I'll be doing I'll be jumping back into it in February. So I do have
Mm.
events lined up from February going.
I'll pop that up.
Sorry.
It's okay. That was absolutely great. My question would be, I see the decoration. I also see food. Does that mean that you do the catering too? You have somebody else who does that?
I do work with other caterers.
Mhm.
In terms of desserts, there's Cake Pop Divas. She is the best when it comes to the cake pops and the cake in the jar. And then we have Tamara, who does our cakes. I
Yeah,
love her.
we take the time to give them a shout out, but we do that on here as well.
Okay.
Business and give them a shout out. Same for you, Evan.
So there's Tamara, and then for the food, there's Abner's Kitchen and Exquisites. They're also
Mhm.
on Instagram as well.
Right.
So they handle the food side for that, and Uju's Kitchen. So she's more of the African foods
Right.
when we cater to African parties.
Okay.
Okay. So would your clientele be more mixed, or would it be more of um blacks?
Um, at first, it was more um, blacks, but now it's more of a diverse.
Okay.
So these days, I've been doing a lot of uh, what should I say?
Is it Caucasians? Is it
Indian parties.
Indian? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been dealing with a lot of Indian
That's
clients.
a lot
I
of
have done some Caucasians.
Mhm.
Actually, it is mostly Africans and blacks
Right. Right.
that I've been catering to. So, but I hope to be out there as well.
Okay.
What is the biggest party you've done, like size wise?
Size wise,
This is a funny question seeing your last name, but I'm gonna ask it anyways.
what was the question?
Size wise,
Oh,
the biggest.
um, the biggest. I don't know. Let's say the church. The
The 10th
church's
anniversary.
anniversary. The 10th anniversary.
And you're
That's what
looking
I would
and you're
say.
looking at how many there?
The church anniversary. Whew, it was quite a lot,
Yeah.
and I think it was. I think it was not only the amount of people, the space, but it was the turnaround time because they also had a service or a ceremony in the beginning. So we
Hmm.
had like an hour or 2 hours to transform that whole space into uh, an event, another nighttime event. So the members, there was invited guests, there were people from out of town.
Hmm.
So it was quite big. I would say there was over 200 people.
Okay.
It was way more, right? Yeah, there was a
250.
lot of people.
Yeah, the reason why I asked because I have been to either Ghanaian parties or Nigerian parties. So I said, because of your last name, I want to ask the big time. I have
There,
to
there
ask.
was no RSVPs, right? Everybody just popped in.
Yes, there's always you turn around and there's like 20 more people you didn't expect. So that's why I asked.
Are you gonna let us in on the joke? I mean, Lamar and I are kind of lost here.
Well, it's just known like when Africans have parties, they have parties.
Okay.
Huge
So,
parties. So
so
I mean,
you can't say I'm having a party and I'm inviting
10
200
people.
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
like
That 200 is only on paper, right?
exactly.
Because people hear that you are having an event, and if, whether you invited them or not, they're gonna show up.
Yeah,
So if you put 200 on paper, budget double.
yeah.
That's,
Right. Right. Okay. I get you. I get you now. All
See,
right. That,
because I've been in the world with music with them, so I kind of learned that when I go to attend a show or something, I know whatever numbers at the door is not happening. So you have to
Yeah.
yeah.
prepare.
So like my sister, she's getting married. So we have our traditional engagement, and
Mhm.
usually that one is huge compared to the actual white wedding. So I
Yeah.
told her, try to sneak that in now with quarantine because you can keep the numbers low. But
Hmm.
on the flip side, it's not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
like there's no point.
Yeah.
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 Something I learned.
Rachel is giving you some props there online. I see your folks showing you some love there. Good. Yeah, but yeah, man, listen, we only have a few minutes left, but I was more than happy to have you both on here and hearing what you all do, and just giving you a shout out, letting the folks know in the community know about you if they didn't know before. Oh, sorry, I need to put something up on the screen here. Okay, here we go.
So that first couple of pictures was a COVID wedding.
Okay,
And I think we both worked on this one together. It was a church at our church.
yeah,
Um, so outside of that decor, what we did was actually do a live stream as well
mm-hmm.
because there could only be 10 people, right?
Okay,
So there was a live stream
yeah,
on Zoom and YouTube as well for all the other guests that couldn't attend in
yeah,
person.
okay,
And this was one of my favorite events to work on. Like the couple was just absolutely pleasant. When you're a decorator and you put in your all into decor, and the feedback you get is just absolutely outstanding. The appreciation, it makes you love it even more and keep going. And so this was one of my favorite events.
man, COVID is something else.
Hmm.
And
But
then
I think a lot of individuals appreciate the fact that they don't have to spend too much right now.
Yes.
They can do that after. They just want to get to the main thing right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is Evans and Rachel. Evans operates Evermore Media, and Rachel's business is Jackie Becky Events, and we've been talking to them for the past hour, and hearing a lot about what they do, getting some shout outs as well from some of their folks here. And anyone else that Evans, anyone else you want to give a shout outs to as far as people that you've worked with or individuals that you've done things for or whatever?
Um, I would say a big shout out to my Open Shutter crew.
Hmm.
My Open Shutter crew is a group of, well, right now we expanded to 6 people, six
Right.
guys. We do live shows every Wednesdays
Hmm.
on YouTube.
Hmm.
Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. We're live
Yeah.
every Wednesday. We're talking about photography. We're talking about video. We're talking about how to improve your stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, and I also want to give a big shout out to God's Good Lennox, the guy in the comments there.
Your
He's
number one
my number
supporter.
one supporter, and
Yeah.
I work with him a lot at church. At church, he's my guy. He's always with me in the tech room there.
Yeah.
Uh, we're putting things together, making sure that the live streams and stuff are happening.
Hmm.
So a big good shout out for him as well.
Okay.
Oh
And
yeah. Do you guys?
he and his wife run a small um,
Clothing
clothing
design. She
design,
sews African prints.
African prints, earrings, and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
Madison
Madison
David.
David collection on Instagram.
Okay. Lamar had a question for you. I don't know who
Yeah.
you.
Yes, sir.
It was to Evan. Do you have any upcoming workshops?
Because of COVID, I haven't planned anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see as soon as the lockdown lifts. There'll be more workshops coming up. So the workshops I usually posted on my IG, and I also sometimes just mention it on my Instagram as well. I mean, on my YouTube as well.
Do you accept like invitations to maybe speak to a church group, or you know even though a lot of churches have to adjust now to being online because of the lockdown, especially if one they didn't have anything before, or what they had was not adequate, so they're really trying to step up their game. Have you done anything like that, or do you accept invitations to sort of like talk to
So
them, sort of like a guest speaker?
yeah, so that's one of the things I kind of didn't mention when I was talking about. So since the beginning of COVID,
Hmm.
uh, I've been more into that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
especially with churches and stuff. I have a couple of churches in the states where remotely I help them set up their systems as well for to get up the live stream because
Hmm.
majority of the churches were not set up
Right.
or prepared for what happened.
Correct.
So now we are all being forced to get into this environment of live streaming and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, I do sometimes assist certain churches and actually sometimes even put together packages for churches who want to get started and have nothing. So I guide them through what you need to get started.
Mm-hmm.
If even some churches we just set up on just a basic laptop using the webcam laptop webcam, so
Right.
pastors can just sit in their house and just reach out to their congregations and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
And we also, would getting into this scenario where, for example, for weddings and stuff like that, if you're having a wedding and you only can have 10 people attending, and you're interested in doing a live stream where your remote guests can come in, you can see them on a big screen, they can talk and contribute to the weddings as well.
Mhm.
We do that as well.
Okay. All right. That's good to hear, man. Glad that you guys were able to come in. Mr. Evans from Evermore Media. Man,
Yes, sir.
we're more than happy. Like I said, I had because of where we are right now. I have a 1,001 questions, but we only have a limited amount of time in order to question you. But I really appreciate the insights and the information. Sometimes when we see things, and just as you said, people will just see and they think that it's just a matter you're just taking pictures, but the passion that you chased after, and then to mingle it in a time like this with all the different things that you have to do in order to help people, whether it's in churches or weddings or whatever the case is, man. It was really nice. And Miss Rachel, thanks all. The shyness, you were able to get over the shyness,
I
man.
know. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Appreciate you guys both being here. I don't know if
Thank you
you
for
want to say
having us.
anything, or Lamar say anything just before we end. Okay, I guess he doesn't have anything to say.
Ready?
Lamar is the shy one. No, I was just final words. All right, folks. So we are gonna be signing off until next Monday when we're back on Black Buzz again. Listen, we're on. We have a Facebook page. Lamar, you can drop this information out there, Lamar, just before we end. Our Facebook page or YouTube.
All right. All right. So if you tune into our Facebook, it should be Blackbuzz TO. It should be no Blackbuzz.to on Facebook. Also on Instagram, that's the same thing, and Blackbuzz TO on YouTube. Yeah. So
Okay.
follow us, comment, subscribe, support us as much as you can on our platforms.
All right. So YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, we are there. If you want to come on here, just drop us a message and we'll reach out to you. All right. Until next Monday, y'all. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.